is done for the talk. Some basic network security information and some information about the firewalls and system auditing related information and AI and ML details. So first of all, if you see threat detection, like today our program is like cyber threat detection and mitigation techniques, right? So already through some of the sessions which you had attended, maybe got some details about this, what is a threat and how you are detecting the threats at different levels. Okay. So just I will quickly recap all the details which you may have learned in the previous modules. What is the threat detection, right? Basically, threats may be coming in different directions on different applications, right? So every threat we cannot categorize categorize into the same path actually. So that is a major place where cyber security analysts will be failing, right? So if you take different applications like web application, and if you take another standalone applications, or if you take a system level softwares and all. Okay, so definitely the threats coming to different type of applications will be in different directions. Okay, so this is the cyber security analyst must need to get knowledge in all the directions to defend the threats in whatever the styles they are coming actually, right? So definitely most of the people are working in these areas, and they're sharing their knowledge from different organizations, and most of the companies are scrutinizing the details at one place. And different people are using that for future research purposes and all, right? So here threat detection is a definitely this threat will have to be deal with more care and all. Now come to the several methods available in the defender's arsenal. So when the cybersecurity people are dealing with these threats, so definitely is not possible at all here in this area. So looking like, for example, if you take any threats like worms or malwares or different type of viruses and all. All these threats are coming down with different information. For example, if you take some of the threats with some signatures and also like spams and all will be coming in different way, and malwares are putting their threat onto the system in different way and all, right? So here all these directions we must need to analyze to go through the threats. So another one is that user and attacker behaviors. So the way, like all these are essential things which we had to consider manually before going down to use the different tools. So user and attacker behavior. So definitely here user, in the sense that if you take an organization, all the internal people, those who are using the networks or systems or something else, so definitely the security related aspects of the organization definitely depends on users. There are users who are inside the organization. Any of the attacker behavior is very difficult to. Hello, are you able to hear? Okay.
If you're able to, you can continue.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So, you know, more interaction may not be possible as it is all.
Whenever you have a doubt, just try to get in. So your attacker behavior, so
Sir, your voice is echoing. I don't know.
Okay.
Now it is better.
Now it's okay, sir.
Now it is better. Yes, yes, please continue.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay. This is getting actually my laptop audio having some issue, so it is getting unmuted automatically. So I will check it one frequently. Okay. So user behaviors also we have to consider while we are going for the threat analysis and all. And another part is that intruder traps. This is the one of the area most of the organizations are working actually. So like trapping the attackers. So simply planning, they will try to creates some honeypot type of things and try to trap the attackers. Simply not only trapping and they will try to analyze the way how they are attacking and all. This knowledge may be useful for the organizations to secure their infrastructure. So here intruder traps and all will be the another area which is better useful for organizations to leverage the knowledge into the cyber threat analysis and detection and all. Okay. So conducting the threat hunts. So not only most of the organizations are not able to spend much time and much money into cyber security related activities, as it is a little bit costly for purchasing equipments or softwares and all. Not only simply not to no need to wait until getting the threat, but frequently it is better to analyze our systems inside the organizations for the threat hunts which are coming into the auditing related activities and all. So frequently if auditing will be taken care into the organizations, so definitely it is very easy for organizations to get away from the threats coming from the public domains and all. Okay. Here the threat detection requires a two-pronged approach actually. So security event threat detection technology and network threat and endpoint threat detection. Okay. So related to security in the sense of like what are the applications running in the organization. So at that level, we have to go for proper configurations and proper setting up of security related softwares and devices. And another one is that network. This is a broad area, I think, right? So from past few sessions, I think we may be gone through this network threats and all, how threats may be happening in network.
Sir, you can be little bit louder, sir.
Data transfer through the network. Okay.
Yes, sir. I think it's fine. It's louder. If you speak little louder, I think it will. Now it is fine. You have to speak little
yes,
louder.
Actually, okay. Speaking more loudly, actually.
Yes, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine, sir.
Okay, sir. Here it is heavy raining, sir. I think might be having some issue with networks and all. Some break.
No,
okay.
This looks fine. It's fine, sir. You continue.
Security through obscurity. Okay. So definitely, general way providing security in the sense that not only by hiding the architectures and all. For example, if we deploy some web application or if we deploy some security, some applications in the organizations, if we can hide the architecture from others, it is a little bit easy for us to get away from the threats and all, but it is very difficult for hiding the architecture and all, and only by hiding the architecture we cannot say that definitely we will be secured actually. So more than to that, like it is better to secure our infrastructure through using different tools and all. That is a better approach actually. So this obscurity may not be work out in all the scenarios. Okay. So for yeah, basically in this communication side and all, like whenever you are using these applications or computers and all those things which are depends on communication, right? So the different style of communication. So basically, let us start up with some TCP/IP related things. Already you might be gone through these things in the previous sessions. So just immediate quick recap I will do it. Okay, so if you see here TCP/IP protocol stack and all, you have 4 layers, right? And different protocols are there at different layers, right? So you see here HTTP, FTP, Telnet, which are working at which are at application layer level, and TCP, UDP at transport, right? And IP at internet protocol, and some other physical layer related things and all. Okay, so almost data communication will be happening through this different layers, in the different by transferring the data through packets and all, and TCP connections and all, right? So already you're much familiar about this OSI model also, which are having 7 layers, right? Providing the data from one layer to the another layer and all, right? So mostly this data link layer is the one which is a little bit weak and all, and you have to if anything compromise there and all, it may be going to the other layers and all. Okay, so come to the one of the main thing here, IP spoofing. So most of you are graduates, and so hope you know about this spoofing things and all. For example, if you take three some A and B hosts are interacting, and some another intruder may become, and they will try to spoof the actual host from the communication, right? So this IP spoofing is one of the major things which are happening nowadays and all. We have to properly deal with these things, which are possible only when we can analyze the packets in different styles and all. Okay. So most common forms of spoofing are like this, right? DNS server spoofing, ARP spoofing, and IP address spoofing. So already you know the basics of internet and all, how it is working, how the DNS servers are working, how this ARP is working and all. So DNS server spoofing level, DNS server level, these attackers are doing some malpractices, and they will try to move the traffic to their servers or to their places, and they will get beneficial from that things. So at the MAC address levels also they are spoofing through the ARP, right? So this IP address mainly IP address spoofing will be based on source IP address changing to their IP address, and moving the packets to their places from the server, right? So IPv4, all of you are familiar with this IPv4 network, right? So this source IP address, they're trying to change in the packets, and they will try to get the traffic. Okay. So mostly this IP address spoofing will be done by the attackers for different reasons and all, right? They're trying to hide the botnet device locations and all, or botnet device informations, and they will try to stage a reflected assault also. Like some A is the one who is the attacker, and through B they will try to get the details from C. Okay. So most of the people, so even though if you try to trace the attack, it is very difficult for us to find out what is the location of the attackers and all. So due to this spoofing of the packets, actually. Okay. This IP address spoofing in application layer level will be frequently done by these attackers, and all right. Generally, this TCP communication will be handled through this three-way handshake, right? Three-way handshake. Okay. So here, just I will give few details. Okay? Whenever some A is trying to interact with B, that means B is the server and A is the client. So he will try to send a SYN packet, and server will try to give him back this acknowledgement packet, right? And of the SYN ACK packet from the server, and they will try to so again, after getting the SYN ACK, the visitor is trying to put the ACK back to the servers. Okay, so through these three steps, after completion of these three steps, okay, the communication is going to be happened automatically between the requester and responder. Okay? That means server and client. So total this third step is not going to be happen when if an attacker is trying to get the information, and trying to attack through the spoofing. That means here basically it is very difficult and all, but most of the attackers will do analysis of packets by listening and by spending more time in the communication. So nowadays, I think if you gone through internet, a lot of tools are available as open source. And for the system auditing, we are also using most of the open source tools and all. Simply by using the open source tools and all, we are able to get more get intrude into the communication and get the details, and we are able to analyze those details and all. Okay, so this third step is not going to be happen between actual requester and server, and attacker will come in, and they will take the details from the server to their places actually. Okay, so and in case of this distributed denial of service attacks also will be happening, right? That means attackers will be trying to place most of the devices into the networks and all. That means into the public, and they will try to distribute the attacks onto the host based on they will try to distribute the attacks onto the hosts. Okay. So here you can see here, say deep packet inspection, DPI. This is the one of the good thing which we have to use for attacking on the and the spoofing things. Okay, so that means generally just by analyzing the packets only for IP addresses cannot going to work out more. So some more in depth we may have to analyze the data. So like already structure of the packets, a lot of other fields are available other than this IP addresses. So definitely we may have to analyze other data also with respect to some sequence numbers or some TTL fields or okay. So all those data we may have to definitely analyze. So and also not only the header parts, the actual data also we may have to intercept and see how it is, how the packets are flowing and what type of things are coming inside the packets. So, but it is this DPI definitely will provide good results, but it will be a burden to the actual network. So sometimes definitely it will degrade the performance because of it needs some more resources and all, and intercepting to the packets and all maybe to the definitely it will degrade the performance. It won't give much speed actually. So this also might be gone through TCP sequence number attack and all, right? Between host and servers. So through the sequence numbers exchange and all, communicate three-way handshake will be happening, right? So generally, if you see, we're going to this host is going to request to the server through 4321 SYN, and it is going to acknowledge with the next sequence number, right? And it is giving the SYN packet with 5501, and host is maybe going to give the next number to the server to understand that it is acknowledgement to the 5501 actually. Okay, so mostly the attackers will try to okay. Okay. Are you able to hear? Some of the people are saying something loud and all. Actually, I am speaking loudly here.
It's fine, sir. I think little bit louder and you can continue, I think.
Okay,
You can
okay.
continue.
It is very nearer to. It is very nearer to my mouth actually. This headphone. Okay. Okay. So this sequence number attacks also happening in the networks. Okay. Like these attackers and all will be listening these packets, and they will spend more time for and after getting much knowledge on the packets, definitely they're going to prepare the packets with required details to send the traffic to their places. Okay, so nowadays in depth and all. Okay, so if you see packet flooding and all, so mostly this denial of service attacks will be happening in different styles. So for example, if you take any system, a system will be having different ports and all, right? Mostly different applications are tied up with ports. So while doing auditing and all, mostly this is the first step we'll be applying. So remotely, as like a black hat hacker, we'll try to audit the systems. So and see what and all ports are opened in the system first place. That's the first point we will do generally. So because of the port is the first place where attack could be possible actually. Okay, so the most of the people will try to, if they can try to know, if they know that port is open, definitely they will try to interact with the systems through that ports and all. So so if see here denial of service attacks through volumetric way, like if they want to attack the system and stop the services of the system, like mostly into the web applications and all. Simply they will flood the package to that port. So after some time, system may not be able to handle the situation, like handle the situation and give the reply to the actual traffic coming from the other applications. Okay. So for example, most of the servers will put a eye on the ICMP packets which are coming. So if it is going above some limit which is set for that servers, simply they will stop. That port will be stopped and restarted once again for if such type of more number of packets will be observed by the tools. So denial of DOS attacks will be happening like that. Simply putting packets onto the ports, which will attack the system to stop the services. Okay. So in this also, like deep packet inspection we have to do for doing for avoiding the attacks in this one. Next one, if you see here, packet sniffing. Mostly for auditing purposes also, we'll try to sniff packets in the network actually. Okay, so a lot of tools are available for this packet sniffing. Through generally, like if you take simple tool like Wireshark and all. Okay, so we'll get the so we'll get the packets and analyze that packets by using different tools and all. Okay, so here sniffing. If you see here, hardware and software sniffers are available. So whenever you are planning to provide security and all to the environments, definitely the sniffing can be worked out. In real time analysis and all, it will be a little bit difficult actually. But once you store this data, after storing this data, we can analyze through different tools statically, and we can come to some conclusions that whether any attacks are happening or not. And real time in the difficult. Why I say is that, like, when the attacks are coming up to some level only, we are able to analyze data in that much speed actually. Okay, so otherwise, simply if you are intercepting, it may be very difficult for us, difficult to the to giving the reply and all. Okay. So here packet sniffing is one of the way we have to go through for analyzing the networks and all. Okay, so you maybe know about this one, promiscuous mode. We are able to capture the data only when this network interfaces are in promiscuous mode. Okay, otherwise it's not possible. Okay. And next one is that packet filtering. So the routers are available into the networks at router levels and all, which are the basic operation of this router. You know that, right? Basically connecting the networks and sending the data from here to there and all. Okay, so definitely this filtering operations we have to apply based on the data, based on the packet data and all, by analyzing different things like what we discussed on DP and all. Like for example, if you need to allow telnet, if you don't want to allow SMTP, so based on such type of things, we can configure at firewall levels. We can allow some IPs, and we if you want to block some IPs at firewall level, we can set the rules, rules for the same purposes. So here advantage of packet filtering is that at the network level, we can put some router, for example. Okay, every packet will be observed by that router, and after that only it can give the packet inside to our network. So that is one of the way. So if any attacks are if you can if any attacks are going to be happen, or if they can find out some possibility at that router level itself, we are able to stop actually. So for a total network, one router starting point. Okay, so at the starting point itself, if we can incorporate different scenario, different tools and all, it will be somewhat better one actually. Okay. Some of the disadvantages also there, like anyhow, most of the tools are not satisfied, even though a lot of tools are available nowadays. Every tool, most of the advanced tools also not able to stop the attacks. We know that. So that's what the reason even in this high level tool available scenarios, we are getting a lot of attacks actually. Okay. So if you see here, firewall. So this is the first place, I think, right? From very long back, firewalls are available in our systems, from Windows to other environments. At this place, so through this firewall setups, we are able to set some rules, inbound and outbound rules and all, for filtering out the traffic. Okay. So if you see here, different things like packet filters, application gateways, circuit level gateways, and proxy servers. Okay. In different ways, we are able to go through this firewall settings and all. Okay. So if you see here proxy servers, I'm not going in detail to all these things. And proxy servers, if you take proxy server, I'm getting some just a minute. Okay, got something. What are the security criteria to pass firewall? Okay, here something he asked. Okay, so firewall inbound and outbound rules we are going to place. So inbound, for example, based on IP, if you are planning to put some rules, definitely through IP spoofing, we may be going to bypass the firewall and all. Okay, bypass the firewall. Okay. What are the best inbound and outbound rules for firewalls? Okay, so best in the sense that with respect to best in what way? Actually, I didn't got this question. Okay. At port levels and IP levels, we are able to set the rules actually. So what you expect? I don't know. Okay. Okay. We can come to that points. So proxy servers is the one of the major place where attackers are hiding behind and all, right? And they're doing a lot of activities. So basically, this proxy server will hide. Proxy server will hide the details about the IP addresses and all, right? As you know that. So it will. Attackers will be happily enjoying their activities just by sitting behind the proxies and all. So nowadays, I think just a few days back, we had given the proposal to trace out at actual IP source which are staying behind the firewalls and all. Okay, to Mighty, it may be in process actually. Some of the tools are there actually, so they're telling they're able to trace out, but not much tools are completely giving satisfied results in this area, firewall related things and all. Okay. Okay, so you can go through, like for example, if you see firewall utilize the following technologies for different firewall architectures. Static IP filters, okay, dynamic packet filters, circuit level gateway, okay, application level gateways, a lot of stateful inspection and all. So a lot of things firewalls will be doing nowadays actually. So if you see here, one of the important thing, stateful inspection. So packets coming inside, definitely the packet will be having some interaction, some continuity to the previous packets, right? So while analyzing the packets, if the statefulness, if you're not following, we may be miss some continuity actually. We may miss some continuity. So the stateful inspection will give more results. So to apply this stateful inspection and all, not only by analyzing the IP addresses, we may have to go through other headers and the data of the packets also. Okay, so then only we are able to get the stateful information about the packet. So if you see here, these are the different advantages for this stateful inspection. So it offers the ability to inspect all 7 layers of OSI model. So it does not break the client server model and all. Okay. So definitely this stateful inspection will be a little bit better for us, better to analyze more to analyze threats of the traffic. Okay, so you may be gone through. You may know about this air gap. So totally, some SCSI EDs will be placed in between untrusted networks to the trusted networks. Untrusted networks to the trusted networks. So it will place the data to this SCSI EDs. It will place the data to this SCSI disk, and our internal network is going to read the data. Internal host is going to read the data from this SAED. So totally, there is some gap between the untrusted networks to the trusted network. So definitely, there is a very less chance of attacks. Okay, in this different ways, we can the firewalls are going to be managed and all. Okay. So most of these details are a little bit basic. So let us come down to the system auditing. Let's come down to the system auditing. So most of the organizations, that is some middle to high, like with respect to financial stages and all, like respect to financial details. Okay, I'm talking. So, most of the organizations are having interest in this system auditing because of mostly already attacks may be happened, or to safeguard the infrastructure for the future attacks. So in two ways, people are having interest for auditing activities actually. Okay. So here, with respect to auditing, in the sense that like finding out whether any loopholes are already there in the systems. Okay, there is a first point to address. If anything over there, to
Sir, your voice is not audible. Hello, sir, your voice is not audible. It's not audible, sir. I don't know. Suddenly, it's not audible now. No, I think there is an issue with the mic. It's not audible.
here it is, video is available.
Yes, it's fine. It's fine now, sir. It's fine now.
Okay, sir. So this internal auditing, as like organizations, if they have good knowledge in security related activities, they can conduct the internal audits first. After that, they can provide it for the external audits. So here, external in the sense of like people coming from outside, which are the organizations which are having knowledge and certifications in this auditing side. So mostly, if they have knowledge internally, they can try to close the gaps, and after that, they will give it to the external auditors. External auditors will try to find out if anything left, and they will try to close that gaps also. Okay. Okay, next come to the automated audits and all. Automated audits. So most of the tools are available for us for automating the audits. Tools we can use and provide the results to the clients. So if you see IT security standards different available, like ISO compliance 27K. ISO 27K is available for us. So this means this ISO standards will have to be followed by different organizations which are working in this auditing area, like 27K2 is targeting to purely security areas and all, like so to the basic levels. So like that, 2K3 something in different sub parts are there to this standard. So those have to be followed properly for auditing the devices. So if you see automated audit assessment tools. If you see automated audit assessment tools and all, here these are some of the examples. SolarWinds Manage Engine, something like that. And they can run the tools, and it will give the reports automatically by analyzing the systems. Even open source tools are available. Most of the organizations are using the open source tools for getting the results and generating the reports up to some level. And after that, manually people are editing that. Even we are doing that, manually editing the data and finalizing the reports actually. Okay. So with respect to web applications, if you take most of the web application security related attacks are they're here, like these are the top 10 attacks provided by WebWasp. Injection attacks, you maybe already know that, I think, right? Yeah, like another example, SQL injection attacks and all, right? Through the input fields, simply they are passing the scripts to bypass the SQL queries, and they're trying to get the data. They're trying to get the details which are not intended for them, right? So like this, broken authentication, sensitive data exposure, XML related things, and broken access controls. Okay. And security misconfigurations. So with respect to configurations, if you are trying to concentrate on security, we have to go for this security misconfigurations related things. Like if you are using Apache server, for example, for the or Tomcat server for deploying the web applications, for example. So you're able to hear now, sir? Okay. So configurations, if you're trying to deploy the applications to different servers, so definitely you have to concentrate on the configuration of the servers also. So like what and all ports and what and all ports are opened in that servers, and how you are configuring the related things on the ports and all, we have to definitely target for providing more security and all. Okay. So if you see here, 10th point, insufficient logging and monitoring. So most of the people cannot do this logging. So when we do some auditing in different organizations, so most of the applications are not doing the logging properly. So this logging will give a lot of information to the auditors actually. So if the logging is proper, just we can use the log files for statically analyzing to find out what is happening on the applications. So if you say general different solutions are available in different categories like passive protection, active protection, and real-time threat notifications. So in case of passive protection and all, like this log files and all, we can take up and analyze them manually. Okay. Later, that means so immediately in real time we may not be able to get the details, but what happened in the system, definitely we are able to analyze on the available files and all. Okay. So if you see here, the real-time threat notifications. So I'm not speaking about real-time threat detection and defense notification. So most of the tools are available for us in these areas, like ELK stacks and all. We can configure them to send email immediately if anything found disruptive to the configurations we made actually. So this ELK stack is some of the good one. Intrusion detection IDS systems, you maybe know that, I think. Okay, intrusion detection systems are mainly they will try to concentrate on detecting the intrusions which are not normal from the configuration. So, if, for example, most of the IP addresses which are blocked by different other organizations, that knowledge is available in internet. So if anything traffic is coming from that IPs and all, in our applications we may be configure the related things. So the ideas maybe get some details on IP based and all, but IP based only may not be a better approach actual, right? So this idea systems will be working in different styles. Okay, not only IP based on in-depth analysis also. Basically, this IDS systems, IDS systems will be deployed at different places in the network and collect the data from different places and try to analyze. So if you see your IDS are different types: host-based, network-based, and stack level, and signature-based and anomaly-based. I'm not going in detail. Like you know that host at the host level, you can configure this IDS and all. And for the total network level, you can configure. And for the total stack, total TCP IP stack, at every layer level, you can configure the IDSs. And signature-based, you may be different. See here some of the example for this virus. These are already known viruses, and what are their signature of the virus will be known in advance, but because of the already the threats will be threats were happened. So this known information can be used in the IDSs and all to detect the things based on the signatures, but we cannot expect every time that the same threat may be coming to every the network again and again. Okay, so threats will be definitely in different styles, and they are going to leave the footprints in different styles every day. Okay, so only signature based may not be worked out. So we have to think these tools what and all available must need to think in different ways, like at the network level scanning and everything, like that means DPA, deep packet inspection level and all. Okay, the next one, if you see CM, security information and event management. So most of the organizations are having this type of designs into their organizations for mitigating these attacks. So if you see here, this security information and event management related to some of the tools, cloud related tools are available for us, and another one is the Elasticsearch. So right now we are working in port for Mumbai Port Trust for securing their traffic, securing their network traffic. So for that, we had used this Elastic stacks for providing providing. This is one of the tool only. Elasticsearch is one of the tool only for analyzing the data and generating the reports in real time and sending the mails to the corresponding CISO. Corresponding officers of the port. Okay, so a lot of tools are available for this type of CM operations and all. So if we take another one, AI systems for real-time threat detection, or mostly threat detections you are maybe doing like just by getting the data, passing through networks and all, statically we can analyze, and in another way, real-time basis, if you can analyze the traffic, and if we have the good infrastructure for interacting in real time, definitely it will be a better choice. But it is very difficult for us to get the data in real time and analyze and immediately addressing the if any threat is detected. So nowadays a lot of research is going on in applying these AI systems for the real-time threat detection and all, right? So for this, lot of some of the researchers have already developed this ML, this models and all for analyzing the data. The models will be applied onto the static data. That means after collecting the packets and after collecting the data on that, some of the models are trained, and it is going to be applied onto the onto the traffic in real time. But in most of the cases, attacks are newer ones. It is becoming somewhat difficult actually to that models to identify. So basically, new attacks are coming, according to that new attacks, the models also have to be learned, and that learned knowledge have to be applied in real time. Okay, then only we are going to get more results from this real-time analysis of the data and all. Okay, so mostly these false positives, there is a chance of false positives in case of you applying these systems, AR and ML systems onto the traffic analysis. So it is one of the area where we have to work out for reducing the false positives. Otherwise, simply alarms may be raised for unnecessary type of analysis and all. Like that means for the false positives. So if you see here ML, if you're trying to apply into the cyber security, some DL will be having good algorithms for applying onto the data for providing security, but it has to leverage their models into to the next levels for applying for getting good results actually. Okay, so we have the data, and we have some we are able to find out some features from that, and we are able to find out we are able to leverage this, we are able to generate some algorithms, apply the algorithms and all. So by applying all these things, we can create the we can use this ML techniques for by ML techniques by using all these things into consideration and get better results. So this machine learning, AI and DL system, DL concepts, which are advanced and having different concepts into this one, right? Like most of the tasks are subclasses of the most common ones, so which are described below like this, like regression, classification, clustering, association, rule learning, dimensionality, and generative models. So a lot of different styles are there for applying. So for example, if you see here a classification, so we are planning to, I'm not going in detail about all these things, like different algorithms are there. Most of you may be having good knowledge on this ML side if you gone through in curriculum. Classification, mostly, for example, email classification, you may have to apply. Right? How we are able to do email classification? So mostly, definitely based on the data which is going through the emails, right? So definitely up to that much level, you have to go in deep and analyze the data and come to some conclusions that definitely this mail is having some data which may be issue some attacks to the security infrastructure, okay, to the infrastructure. So different ML concepts you are able to apply into the cyber security also. For example, if you use a regression, so this regression is a task of predicting the next value based on the previous value, right? So here, if you're applying the regression onto the cyber security, like it can be applied to fraud detection. So like by using the different features, total number of suspicious transactions on based on location or something else, so we can determine the probability of fraudulent actions, and we can come to some conclusions, conclusions actually. Okay. So here, like this, different concepts you can apply. For example, you know that most of the attacks are coming from some location. So we can classify them, or we can we have to more cautious on that location. If you can find out that new request is coming from that location, definitely. Okay, but everything we are that only, like there is a chance of false positives, definitely. Okay, and classifications I told you, like email classifications, email data classifications, and all, we have to go for things. Okay, so association rule learnings and all, we have to apply for incident responses properly. Okay, here there are different dimensions, like why, what, and how. why should we have to do different things, and what we have to do, and how we have to do with respect to cyber security. Okay. So security tasks can be divided into 5 categories: prediction, prevention, detection, response, and monitoring. So this prediction task itself will be a very tough task, right? Once if it is predicted, and prevention, in what way we have to do. Okay. And detection. So like in case of prediction and all, I told you already, false positives, FP will be the major problem actually, right? So simply you are not able to predict with previously available data. And prevention, properly algorithms you have to apply. And detection, even though sometimes the actual we may be get some lot of difficulties and problem by classifying the correct data as a attack data and all, right? And a response, how we have to respond, and monitoring, frequent monitoring we have to apply. So all these steps must will be involved into the security area. So in case of what we had to in case of what dimension we had to apply these areas like network level, endpoint level, and application level, user level, process level. So all these things we must need to analyze properly. So network level, sometimes issues may not be there, and at endpoint level issues may not be there, and application level may not be there, and process level may not be there. Sometimes there is a chance of problem at user level, right? That means insiders, there is a chance of getting attacked from the insiders also, right? So if it is from outside, through network, through endpoints, we will apply some tools and we are able to find out. But if it is an inside attack, definitely we have to address in a proper way. Okay. And how we have to do. Third dimension is how question, like how to check security of a particular area and all. Okay. Whether it is a transit time you have to see, or whether it rest, that means collected data, or historically we have to see. So all these points we have to apply. Okay, so machine learning can be applied onto the network protection, definitely. So like clustering, classification, degree, a lot of things you can apply. So here I'll come to the another point, like this machine learning issue is that, for example, from the available data in our hand, we may be generating some models. So definitely this model may not be suitable for all the data. Every time attacks are changing their directions. And also having the data sets, already available data sets may not be sufficient. To predict the next attacks. So in case of applying the MLs and all, this data will be the okay. So this data will be the major part actually, right? So this data poison also will be happening, like attackers may be poisoning the data which are available publicly. So most of the researchers are using that data and generating the model. So if the data is poisoned, definitely the models also giving results in different way. So automatically the attackers will get the benefits, right? So if the model is wrong. So in case of applying this machine learning concepts onto the cybersecurity area, that is a major place where most of the ML algorithms are failing. So from the scratch, that means from the data onwards, we have to put an eye properly and it is very difficult also actually. So the shared data, up to what level it was poisoned, or the data, how it will be useful for analysis, or model developed on the data, whether the models will suffice for applying onto the future attacks and all. So these are the like this. A lot of people are maybe having a lot of people are having those who are working in this area are having a lot of issues in applying these algorithms actually. Okay, so ML can be applied as below, like a regression to detect anomalies in HTTP requests. Okay, through the data analysis, classification for injection attacks and all, clustering for the DDoS attacks and all. So different things you can apply. Okay. Okay. So if you see here, deep learning into the cyber security. So for the intrusion detection and prevention systems, deep learning can be applied. If you see here, recurrent neural networks, RNNs can be applied for these IDS and IPS systems. Mostly, I told you already, the data will be the main part, and data poisoning, if it is happening, definitely these things may not be going to give good results. And data also, data dimensional reduction and everything will be one of the another main issue actually here. Okay. And while dealing with the malwares and all, different deep learning algorithms will be applied. So traditional malwares solutions as regular firewalls to detect may not be able to detect in a proper way, and they are based on signatures only. So, but deep learning algorithms are able to learn themselves for based on the newer data and all. So it's there is a if models and everything are properly designed and all. So definitely these algorithms can give good results actually. Okay. And for the spam and social engineering detections, so this NLP can be combined. Natural language processing can be combined along with these algorithms for detecting. Right, as for spam and this mailing and everything, it's like NLP can be applied to analyze that data actually. Like that means internal data analysis also may be required to go through in depth to the to know the attacks and also definitely at the places NLP must need to be applied. Okay, that means different languages maybe having different meanings for the data which are transferring through the mails. So that analysis also have to be applied to get actual meanings of the data, right? So network traffic analysis could be done through this ANNs, which are available in DL, through this data available for us. Okay, and user behavior analytics also we must need to do for going through the things like user behavior analytics in the sense that like generally, for example, if any user is logging into the system at midnight or 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, so definitely there is a chance of something is going on behalf of that user, right? So that user generally he cannot log in into the system at that time, for example. Okay, so such type of behavior analytics also we have to apply onto the data. So in different ways we can apply this AI and ML systems onto the cybersecurity area. But here major things we have to address is that on data poisoning, and up to what level these models will address the issues, and also into the real time, even the model is perfect, up to what level this model we can plug into the real time data. That means what type of infrastructure we require for capturing data in real time and applying to the model, and applying that model in real time onto the data. So a lot of issues may be arise, but researchers will be working in these areas for addressing a lot of points actually. Okay, so these are few points about this automating the cyber detection things and mitigating techniques available for us. Okay, so mostly 1 hour in sensor, like I'm into in depth to the programming side, we may not be able to cover. So that's what I planned to give just a overall details which are available in different areas actually. Okay, this is from my side. Okay, let me see for 5 minutes if any questions are there. Okay, sir, can AI and ML models detect the attack through network? I think I had addressed this one. You can get the data and apply onto the models. So applying the models in real time will be a very difficult one, which needs more and more infrastructure actually. How is the undetected proxy are created? Okay, a lot of program. These are possible actually. Just you can go through program which are available, but okay. That only. This is the major thing. Like hackers are staying behind these proxies, from one proxy to another proxy. A lot of things are there they are doing actually. So much number of tools are not available for us to detect even not only the hacker that means to detect the IPs hiding behind these proxies. It's very difficult. What are the tools available nowadays are not catering the needs properly. So that's what the reason why MIT have given just recently we had given the proposal to MIT for this for developing this tool at CDAC actually. So mostly I had addressed these things, I think. Okay. Okay. That's all, sir, from my side.
Thank you, sir. We will have, sir, tomorrow also we have one more session by you, right?